Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 140 of your Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. Today, we're going to talk about the paradox of stuckness. There's a lot of get unstuck advertising, right? You're stuck, I help you get unstuck. And I started out that way too. And then I had a conversation with Tad Hardgrave with Marketing for Hippies. And he was like, that's just too vague. Getting unstuck, what does that mean? So I actually changed it. And I know someone who was marketing with the getting unstuck and just getting nowhere. Because now it's because it makes sense, right? It makes sense why we would say that. But it's just too vague. It doesn't... It also often doesn't solve the problem. We know that we're getting our clients unstuck, but when we talk about getting unstuck, it's just sort of the mind is like goes into this area of what does that mean? So we want to avoid that, right? We don't want to have our clients start to ask themselves, what does that mean? We want to make it super obvious. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about, but I want to talk about this paradox of stuckness. Because we do get stuck and we get caught in repetition compulsion where we're just repeating the same thought pattern, the same conversation is going on in our head over and over, ad infinitum, ad nauseum. You just want to stick your head in the, you just want to like drown yourself because you can't make this loop stop. Okay, now part of looping thoughts is you're eating too much sugar. That will scramble your brain and it will stick your brain in absolutely fruitless thought loops. But we're not going to talk about that today either. What I'm talking about is stuckness that has a purpose, but it's a paradox. We think, okay, we're stuck. We need to get unstuck. And so we need to do something to get unstuck. What do I need to do to get unstuck? And this is the problem. When we think I need to get away from this stuck place, we're losing the enormous amount of wisdom that's in the stuckness. The stuckness is the message. You being stuck is the point. It's all that you guys know, or if you're new to the podcast, I do not believe that you're learning a lesson, that something is teaching you something, although you do learn. I don't think there's an external force that is making you stay stuck until you get the point or till you learn the lesson. Like, I'm absolutely opposed to that because it's all us doing all the things, all right? And I think thinking that way comes from a punitive God. This punitive God concept that until you get it, you're going to have to do it. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. So you get stuck. You think, I've got to get unstuck. There's an energy in that of I have to get away from this stuckness. Anytime we try to get away from something, we get more stuck. It's a tar baby. If you haven't ever read, is it Peter Rabbit? Peter Rabbit and the Tar Baby? Go Google that and read that story as an analogy or a metaphor. I always get those two confused. Is it an analogy? Is it a metaphor? It doesn't fucking matter. Go look up and read the story. In the story, this rabbit it's stuck to this tar baby. And the more it tries to get away, the stucker it gets. Because you're pushing against the thing that's sticking your hands to it, okay? So much of this is talked about in Law of Attraction and in all kinds of places like AA, NA, 12-step programs talk about what you resist persists. What you try to get away from sticks to you harder. It's like a little kid trying to run from their shadow. And this does happen to little kids. I know it's funny. It's not supposed to be funny, but it's kind of funny. When they first realize they have a shadow, they freak out. And they like try to run away from it, but you can't run away from your shadow, right? Same is true of your shadow, your real shadow. The part of you that's not being acknowledged is trailing you like your literal shadow. like your tar baby, the more you push against your stuckness, the stucker you get, the stickier it gets. So what do you do about that? You have to go into it. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I have a group called Train Your Body to Wealth, and you've tried everything, but you're still not making money, then the answer's in your body. And that's what we do is focus on the body through a variety of methods. But the biggest part of that is going into the sensation, into the resistance. And I'm providing some readings from Be in the Gang, the group that I channel, to everybody in the program. There's 21 or 22 people, I forget. And some of the readings have been about the paradox of having to go toward the thing you're trying to get away from. And that's where the solution is moving toward it, not away from it. So when we come when we come at our stuckness with this, you know what? I'm going to get unstuck. I'm going to go hire a Get Unstuck coach. I'm going to go take a Get Unstuck program, and by God, I'm going to be unstuck. And it's like, but wait a minute. If the stuckness is the message and you force yourself away from it, guess what? Repetition compulsion is going to kick in because your system is always seeking resolution. So you're going to end that program, and 2 seconds later, you're going to be unstuck. You're going to be stuck again. If you get unstuck in the first place, which you won't, you'll convince yourself you are, because you'll get into action. You'll start doing things. All right, I'm stuck. I'm not sending an email. I'm not sending out emails to my list. I'm not even growing a list. I'm still eating too much sugar, blah, 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 whatever it is for you. So by God, I'm just going to take action, and I'm going to force myself to send some emails. Or I'm going to hire a VA to send the emails for me. It's not going to work. I'm going to force myself to stop eating sugar, which you should do. Because actually in the forcing yourself to stop eating it, you realize how, for some people, not everyone, but for some people, sugar is a truly toxic substance, like worse than alcohol or drugs. Anyway, that was a bad example. But you move into action, and the action isn't sustainable because you didn't get the message, because your system is still fucking stuck. All right, so there's a person I know, and this is true for so many people. They're stuck in the procrastination loop. They're stuck in the I don't want to. You can't make me. I'm going to sit here and be a big baby about it because you can't make I'm just going to pout and throw a tantrum and feel sorry for myself and flat refuse to do the thing that will bring me the success, you think. So what's happening in that kind of situation, which lots of people experience, myself included, I just don't want to. I just don't want to. And then it's like, try and make me, motherfucker. Just try and see what happens. Fuck around and find out. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to get more still. I'm going to get more pouty. I'm going to get more victim-y in an attempt to claim power. It's so dumb, right? We're such little dum-dums. We're so cute. So the message is a variety of things, but often the message is, it's true that you can't be made. And there were times in your life where you were forced on threat of pain to do things you did not want to do. You're stuck in the don't want to do, and then if you try to force yourself to do, you can't sustain it, because the original problem, I have been forced to do things I didn't want to do, and I've got a wound around here, isn't solved. The message is, you were forced to do things you didn't want to do. You were overpowered. You were sometimes overpowered in mild ways and sometimes overpowered in horribly abusive ways. Your power was stolen from you, taken from you. You were left feeling powerless, at the mercy of an external force. And now we're playing out, I'm at the mercy of the economy. I'm at the mercy of the evil marketing people. I'm at the mercy of the coach that I hired, and she's telling me to do stuff, or he's telling me to do stuff, and I don't want to do it because right? If you've ever had one experience of being powerless, you can have this happen. And if you've had multiple experiences of being rendered powerless, this is a big ass deal. And the paradox is you have to go there. You don't try to solve the stuckness. You solve the feeling of disempowerment. You solve the conundrum of needing to do stuff to have success. You do need to figure out your email list if you're going to do online marketing. But once you tell yourself that, you have this part of you that's like, I am never going to feel like that again. But the irony is, right? That's the paradox. You do feel like that again. You're disempowering yourself. The abusive people who disempowered you are long gone, some of them even dead, but you still render yourself powerless in the rebellion and the refusal to hear the original pain, which was disempowerment. A lot of people who are like, oh, I'm oppositional defiant, or I have ADHD because I resist, you tell me something to do it, then I'm absolutely not going to do it. I would say if you look at a lot of people who are like that, it's because they had some extremely painful, disempowering experiences earlier in life. So you keep replaying it, you keep setting it up because your system is like, excuse me, could you heal this please? Because we don't like this wounding of disempowerment here. So you're going to keep having people tell you what to do and feel the resistance against it. You're going to keep ignoring business advice, diet advice, exercise advice, things that would actually help you and make you progress. Because you can't go out of the stuckness until you hear and heal the wound that the stuckness is telling you is there. Your body is saying, don't make me go there because we got to do this other thing first. If you force me to go there, we won't sustain it because we haven't resolved this wounding first. You have to go to the places you don't want to go. You have to go into, okay, what's underneath this? That's what I don't hear. I hear, well, that's not true. Some coaches do go there, but they have to do their marketing in a different way because get unstuck is just not enough. You got to go into the stuckness, and that's opposite of what you'll get, the advice you'll get from most people. Oh, you're not taking action? Okay, take action. Oh, you don't want to take action? Well, make yourself. Hire an accountability coach, and I'm going to call you every morning. Did you take the fucking action? And you're going to be like, no. Or worse, you'll lie and say, I totally did. And you didn't. Like, you can't get at it that way. You can do it for a while. An accountability coach or an accountability group can make you do the things because you don't want to be the one jerk in the group who's not doing it. But you can't sustain it. That's why you try and you make some success and then you falter again because the problem was misidentified as a problem of lack of action rather than a problem of being disempowered in very hurtful ways. Your stuckness is telling you there's a wound. And when you resolve that wound, sitting down to write an email will be no big deal. You just do it because you're like, oh, well, if I want outcome A, I got to do, or outcome Z, I got to do actions A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. Right? If I want that outcome, I have to do these things to get it. So do I really want that outcome? Or is there a wound here? Do not force yourself out of your stuckness. Do not. I know you know this. It doesn't work. And you'll just go buy another program, you'll hire another coach, you'll get into another book, you'll set up all these systems, and the fucking email is still not written. The list is still not built. The actions are still not taken. And you're left feeling even worse because you're thinking that you got to do this action step when you've got to do the internal go toward the pain. Go toward it. You're stuck to a tar baby, so back to Peter Rabbit or Brer Rabbit or whatever the hell that story is. You're stuck. That's great. Your wound has like grabbed onto you and is screaming at you, listen to me. Yesterday I was trying to teach a class to this Train Your Body group. And my granddaughter, Shelby, I have every other Wednesday and every Thursday and Friday. And she couldn't hear the people because it's better if I use AirPods because Zoom calls, she's not like, she's 7 months old. And she was fine yesterday with me talking as long as I looked at her. But the minute I looked away, she would fuss and whine and cry. It was like holding a wild animal on my lap because I wasn't addressing her. And our little problems are, and they're not little, but our wounds do the same thing. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm going to fuss and whine and wiggle and squirm and cause you all sorts of aggravation because I need you to look at me, talk to me, help me. That is the voices coming out of your stuck places. Help me. Look at me. I'm right fucking here. But we aren't taught that, right? But I know after watching hundreds and hundreds of people, probably thousands by now, people change, going through my own change processes, that the second we stop and surrender and say, okay, tell me, the minute that we look at the baby, everything is fine. The minute I got off that call yesterday, Shelby was her normal, delightful, giggly, wonderful, calm baby, manifester baby self. She was fine. She wanted me to look at her. She wanted me to pay attention to her. And your stuckness is doing the same thing. It can't feel better. It can't let you move into action because it has to be resolved first. And we don't want to, right? Because it hurts. Shit. It hurts to go into those places. But you won't get out of it permanently until you get that different outcome. There's a number of different ways that you can accomplish a different outcome. You can go to therapy. You can go get some EMDR therapy. You can do EFT tapping. You can do some things where you write out the story of what happened and you write an alternative story with a better ending. Your body doesn't know the difference. This works. It's actually a very powerful technique. Write out the thing that happened. Pick one incident where your power was snatched away from you and you were overpowered and ended up hurt to whatever degree. This happened and then this happened and then this happened and la 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 la. And then, just like you're writing out a scene from a play, then you write the alternative. You're like, you know what? I don't really like how that scene ended. I'm going to write this scene over again. And you write it out exactly how you'd like it to happen. Maybe it didn't happen at all. Or maybe it happened and somebody intervened. Or maybe it happened and you were able to intervene for yourself and get your power back. You can, maybe some magical thing happened and go wild with it, but write yourself a conclusion because your system is seeking a conclusion. There's an earlier episode about writing the end to the story. When there's no end that's satisfactory, you're going to run that story again and again and again and again. I know you know this. The pattern just replicates itself. You're looking at the stage and that scene gets new actors, but they're playing out the scene again And then there comes some new actors. You draw the curtains on it. You're like, you know what? End of the play. Over and done. Lights up. Let's get the hell out of here. But no, that's not what happens, right? The curtains open again, and here's some new actors, and here goes that scene again. And you run from it, and run from it, and run from it. And then you're like, well, I'm stuck. You need to write the end of the story. You need to bring it to conclusion, to a conclusion that's satisfactory, where you feel like a bad thing happened and it went this way and it ended this way, and I can feel good about that. Not good about what happened, not good about the person who did the thing, but good that it's resolved now. I can let it rest now. I can put it to bed now. This is how EMDR works, is it interrupts the cycle and it helps you bring an end to it. It has to end. Everything has to end. So these open loops that are just running over and over and over again, like a bad rerun, when you end it, and you have to end it, which means you have to reclaim enough power to end it, then you're not stuck anymore. Taking action alone will never, ever work. So just stop doing that. Stop wasting your money on it. Stop shaming yourself and blaming yourself and haranguing yourself to just do the damn thing. There's no doing here without the resolving first. That's the paradox. To get unstuck, get more stuck. Dive right into the stuck. Grab that tar baby and just stick yourself to it 100% till you figure it out. Till you resolve it through the body. Your body has to be comfortable with it. Your body has to experience the pain, not to the same degree. And believe me, don't do that. If you know it's like gonna be a big deal, a big deal, don't do that by yourself. Go get a therapist to help you. A somatic therapist, an EMDR person. If you don't know what EMDR is, go to emdr.org and check it out. That's what I was trained in as a therapist. I specialized in trauma and addictions. It works. If you think it's something you can handle, or you've gone to therapy for it before, but it's still happening and your body was left out of that process, maybe you can do it by yourself. You be your own judge of that, okay? I'm just saying, don't cheap out. If you need to go to therapy, hire a therapist. You're going to spend a lot. Probably a therapist would be cheaper than what you've spent on coaching and shit so far. Right? People are like, oh my God, EMDR is like $150 a session. All right. How much have you wasted, air quote wasted, because nothing's wasted. But how much have you wasted on books and programs and coaching and stuff to get unstuck and none of it worked? It was not sustainable because it wasn't the problem. The stuckness was not the problem. The thing underneath the stuckness is the problem. The shadow of the stuckness is the problem. Your mind can't figure this out. Your body has to feel resolved. It's making sense? So this stuck person can't force herself to do the actions because the disempowerment hasn't been addressed yet. The replicating story can't be fixed until you end the story satisfactorily through the body. Through the body. I cannot stress to you enough how important your body is in these bigger issues, these replicating, this repetition compulsion, this, you can see yourself doing the thing again and you're like, oh my God, I'm doing the thing again, and you can't stop it. Because you have to do the thing again until it's resolved, because your system is not at optimal expression, and your system will always seek optimal expression. Oh, your body is like, we gotta be off. We have to get the logs out of the river. We have to get the splinters out of our fingers. We have to get these thorns out of our sides. And so, because it needs to flow freely, because that's optimal expression, you're designed to not have boulders and logs and debris and all kinds of shit clogging up the flow of your energy. Your river of energy has to flow freely. And until you figure out what that log is and find the resolving method, the thing that brings it to a conclusion so your body is like, okay, all right, that log is out, it's resolved, it's dissolved, it's transformed, it's alchemized, whatever word feels good to you. Now we can flow a little more. Now things can start to flow into you. Energy starts to flow into you, and then you're inspired to take the action, and then it's not that big a deal. It may be that you never love making social media posts. It may be that you never ever love sending out a damn newsletter. That's okay. You don't have to love it. You can, and you might be like, you know what? I really don't love this. I know I need to do it. And now I feel comfortable hiring someone. And now the right person shows up and I'm willing to pay that $100, $200 a month to have the newsletter sent out. Where I don't want to write, so I talk them into a document. I give that to the VA and she takes care of the shit I don't want to do. And what do you know? A client shows up that covers that expense and more. If you're not flowing, there's a reason for it. But you'll have to ask the stuck place what the message is. What has to happen here? What's trying to happen here? What would help this river flow? You can write a letter. Dear Stuckness, I am fine. How are you? Only I'm not fine because you're here and I don't know. You can write to the Stuckness. You know what, Stuckness? I can't figure this out. I don't know what you need. Can you please tell me what you need? And guaranteed, if you come at this question with courage to face whatever you find, you will get the answer. You'll get the next answer. You might not get the original wound because that original wound might have happened 700 years ago to an ancestor. But you'll get the next answer. Oh, I remember this time when I was 20 something. You get through that. Maybe things are better, but you still got this replicating pattern, and you still got this sense of, well, I'm still kind of stuck. Asking. Oh, I remember this time I was 12. Oh, I remember this time I was 2. Shit. And that's it. That's the core of this lifetime. If you keep going, you may go, your great-great-grandmother may come a-calling in the dream time and give you a little bit more information. You might have to go back 7 or 8 generations to where the first wounding happened. I can't tell you how many times be in the gang are telling people who are ready for it. This actually started about 500 years ago on your father's side. Go back. Here's the original wound that never got resolved. Resolve it now. There is no time or space. And people can make progress after that. Okay? So, I want you to explore, I want to invite you to explore this concept of, if I'm continually stuck, let me reverse engines, turn around, and start talking to the stuckness directly, and just see what happens. All right, so here comes a commercial. If you're done, you can hang up here. If you want to hear what's coming over this at the end of the summer, stick around. So what's coming at the end of the summer is the next round of Train Your Body to Wealth. It's a heart-centered path for women who've tried everything. And you know what? I'm going to change that to, because I have men in my audience, so I'm going to change that to Train Your Body to Wealth, a heart-centered path for people who've tried everything. It's coming back to the body. You've tried Law of Attraction. You've listened to Abraham Hicks for decades, which was me. You've bought all the books. You've taken all the courses. You've worked your ass off like a good student does, and yet you still are having trouble with the money. So we use somatic practices. We use a process called the One Command. We use I wonder questions. We'll pull in stuff from people that I have followed and learned from. Every single day for 40 days, you get something. related to unwinding this. Then we're going to have EFT sessions, and I know there will be more stuff. I give you bonuses. It's going to include Force Reiki levels 1 and 2. That's a $600 value right off the top. And Force Reiki comes with a live Facebook group and quarterly meetings. Yeah, and so I haven't written the sales page yet because I was stuck on the title. I was stuck, and I was like, okay, what is wrong here? I got the title from a coach I'm working with who I adore her, but this title wasn't working. And so I put it out to the group, and Amy Hallberg, who's wonderful, you should go check her out. She's got a great book out called Tiny Altars. Awesome book. Go grab it. She was like, I like the first part, and then I like the second part from this new one. And so we combined them, and guess what? No problem. Energy's flowing again. I'm going to get that sales page written, and the cost for that program is $997. There will be a 3 payment plan, a 3 payment plan. How the hell do you say that? You can make 3 payments toward it there'll be a very small financing fee. I don't charge a lot. It's like 5% or something. So that'll be coming at you if you're interested. So other things is you can book your own, get a personal reading from Being the Gang at michellewolf.as.me/celestial. Get you your own reading. You can get a Human Design Foundation session at planethumandesign.com. And then you can just do Force Reiki if you're interested in that. So those are the 4 things I have available for you today. I don't have the email thing because, that's something I've been stuck on. So I had to look at that. Anyway, there you go. I hope you're having whatever kind of day you want to have, whatever day you choose to have. And until we talk again, think less, feel more. Bye for now.